Hello and welcome to a very special video case study by Great Place to Work UK. We are, of course, the host of the annual UK's Best Workplaces Awards, where we recognize companies who have created a truly exceptional employee experience for all their people, not just a few. And today I'm very proud to be joined by the Sovini Group, who is a large-sized company in the property, construction and facilities management and social housing sector. They have been a UK's best workplace for the last 5 years running, and today will be sharing with me some of the ways in which they live out their company values, support each other as colleagues, as well as supporting the community, and all of this while boosting the employer brand. So without further ado, let's jump into the interview. Hope you enjoy. And Chloe, David, thank you so much for joining me today. I wanted to start off by saying congratulations again on this incredible achievement of the #1 spot on both our 2021 UK's Best Workplaces and UK's Best Workplaces for Women lists. How did you come together as an organisation to celebrate this recognition?
The excitement started before, because we were all involved in the process, and we were all really excited to see what the outcome was. So in my team, we'd arranged for to be on the day to be kept informed, and we were all there on Zoom because we were still in COVID, and we all had it, even though it was in the day, we all had a little celebratory drink. And I think because we were feeling so down about being in COVID, it really helped us. We were absolutely delighted. And then we started ringing all our friends, by Zoom. And I think for that day, we actually thought we were really part of a fantastic group, and that we'd come together in the midst of feeling fed up, putting on COVID weight, not going out, stuff like that. It was a really big boost. And it made us think about what we've done and how we never think about us being fantastic achievers in other people's lives. So that made our team and other teams, when we were chatting, realise how fantastic company it is to work for, how much we benefit and how much we benefit the company, but also about how we look after ourselves. So our celebration started early in the morning and continued.
we have got a culture of recognition and thank you within the group, almost on a personal level, regardless of winning big achievements. I think the culture that we've created is that we say thank you on almost a daily basis to our colleagues for going beyond the extra mile and whatever. So we like to share our success stories. We do that with team away days, team building days. We've got staff incentive schemes that are built into rewarding success. We have Sovini Leaders of the Month. We have Employee of the Year awards. So there's a whole host of other kind of initiatives that we try and celebrate our colleagues in terms of them doing a good job. And as I said to you, just a simple well done or a thank you on an almost daily basis to an individual is how we work at Sovini.
Just to add to that, yeah, our CEO Roy did deliver a personal message to all staff across the group to thank them for their contribution over a really difficult period of our lives, which not only affected us but also our families and our colleagues and friends and whatnot. But to celebrate being #1 in the UK, he did actually announce a massive summer party for all staff, including our staff that are across the UK as well, in Buxton and in Bromley, paying for accommodation, making sure that everybody can be part of that celebration. And it's actually a Cuban themed party, which is going to take place in the Albert Dock. And we've also got live competitions that are running at the moment for people to make and create Cuban headdresses. And then the winner of that competition will then be taking part on a trip on the Pride of Sefton, to take them along the Albert Dock and the Liverpool waterways up to the summer party and make their grand entrance. And we've got samba dancers, we've got drummers, we've got DJs, and yeah, so hopefully it'll be a fantastic celebratory event for all of our staff to enjoy.
Yeah, that sounds brilliant.
In terms of us celebrating our successes, clearly it means that we inspire our people to do more, to do well, our employees stay engaged, and hopefully it boosts morale and and as you say, we've all just come out of COVID, and morale in the office, because we're all working agilely now, it's been a bit a challenge for us. So it's important that we do recognise, you know, our great place to work, if you like, and keep people engaged that way.
Yeah, I think what I'm really getting from everything that you're all saying is the sense of togetherness. This is one family, despite how you have 800 plus employees. It doesn't matter where people are based. And David, you were mentioning gratitude, also just the little things and all of these ways that you're celebrating the success. It's not sort of tokenistic, it's proper engagement. So that real feeling of supporting one another has been really great to hear. I wanted to find out, because the Sovini Group is also known as a champion of CSR and supporting the community. And would you mind sharing with us some of the examples?
You might not shut me off, because we do so much. At the beginning of COVID, I recognised that people who were already on benefits had access to food banks. People who were on furlough or had just come out of work didn't. So the company spoke to senior officers, and we work with a company called His Church, which actually you can buy food from, but it's good quality food. So we, working with SEFT and CBS, developed a plan in partnership with 10 groups, and we had over £20,000 worth of food delivered to these groups, who would then give it out to communities. And the difference there was that if you need the food bank, there's a criteria you have to follow. You didn't have to, if you were in need, whether it be children's food, anything, that food was there. And interestingly, it gave us a better insight, because the sit-up homeless had to go into flats. They couldn't cope, they didn't know how to cook. So, for example, a pallet for them was mainly pot noodles. So we did that. We did absolutely loads. So one of the pallets we gave to the Royal Hospital for their, which was a major place for COVID patients, for their wobble room for the staff, and that included high energy drinks, chocolate bars, because they didn't have any staff any time. We also donated for patients that couldn't have any visitors, so they didn't have any toothpaste, didn't have any reading material, they didn't have any feminine products. So we really looked at how we deliver on our CSR. We did a garden makeover for a domestic violence project, because we'd already supported them, but there was 24 flats communal living, so it meant those ladies, for women and children were stuck in one room. So partnering with Sovini Trade Supplies and our grounds maintenance, we renovated 2 gardens. So that made, and we purchased a table, so that meant that they could go out and do a barbecue, and the children could actually go out. We had, in the same place, there was a child who'd come from a cultural background where if you left the family, you could never return. So the domestic violence unit that we supports a lot of people who are coming from all over the country. There was a little boy there that didn't have any family, and he was 3. So we put a call out to staff, and staff got all his birthday presents for him. And you're overwhelmed. Honestly, it's amazing what the staff do. We had a tenant, I'll call him Arthur, who was a challenging tenant, and he was in hospital. He was the 6th person in hospital at that time, in Sovini Hospital, with COVID, and he wasn't expected to live. And he because he's got additional needs, one vision is his family, because he's part of one of our support groups. So all the staff, I used to do weekly bulletins, and like say 100, 150 staff send cards to him. And then when he come out of his coma, because Roy had sent one, that was in pride of place. Didn't matter that the doctor had saved his life, but he'd got a card from Roy Williams. Look what I've got. And when he's come out of work, we've actually changed his flat to accommodate his needs. There was another thing that we did, was a very, very old bowling green club for senior citizens. They've been going for 180 years, but nobody kept, because of COVID, that lawn would have died. So we had a little bit of a community development thing for him. We cut all the bushes down, and we gave him enough fertiliser and helped to make sure that in the 2 years that club is still there, because that was the lifeline of so many. There's that many. I can't even tell you how many, because we do things all the time.
I think what is amazing, what I'm hearing, is that for you, have you experienced that no matter whether you're remote working and you're not in an office together, or with everyone being in different locations, it really hasn't made, it hasn't had any negative impact on how much you can do?
And I think what we've done now is we're actively targeting groups rather than waiting for them. I look on LinkedIn and I look on Twitter. For example, I saw Everton Toffees, Rainbow Toffees, who are a gay and lesbian football team. They were having a football match and they were looking for funds to go to Sahia House, which is HIV AIDS refugees. So I donated the prize reception trip, and then I went down and then I saw how we can help in gaining employment. One of the biggest things they wanted, they had children, apprentices, so I've contacted Chloe. It's just, we do so much, and I think the beauty of it is they don't think it's unusual. If I put on tomorrow, I need bookcases, for example, or whatever, I would have one within an hour.
I was just gonna come in and add to that.
Oh, sorry, Dave.
It's all right. I think what the last 12 months has kind of taught us is the value of partnership working, really. And if you work with like-minded partners, you can do so much more in the community. And as Anne's outlined there, there's a whole host of things that we do, but we don't do it in isolation. We do it with the community support. We do it with the voluntary sector support, and we're a trusted partner. And as Anne said, we're almost like a go-to organisation now for a whole host of community initiatives. I mean, one of the things that we were involved in at Pine Court, we're particularly interested in supporting the Southeast Asian communities in Merseyside, and clearly we've just been through the census. So we partnered with the Office for National Statistics to ensure that our Chinese-speaking customers and the community were able to take part in the census and understand the questions. So again, talking about our staff getting involved, volunteering, doing stuff in their own time to ensure that our communities were engaged. So again, that's another example of how we kind of invest in our communities, really. And as Anne said, there's a whole host of other things that we can probably talk about as well. I mean, support for veterans, people who've been in the armed forces, homelessness support, food banks. Anne's mentioned these kind of things. Calling our vulnerable customers during COVID to ensure that they were okay, and that if they needed any help, any signposting to other services, we could do that for them. We could advocate for them on their behalf. So there is a lot that we, when you think about it, that we do in the community.
So David, you were mentioning earlier about the work that you're doing in terms of CSR with the Southeast Asia or South Asia community. Can you please share with me a little bit about diversity and inclusion that's happening at Sovini Group? Because a lot of companies, they claim to be diverse and inclusive and they have really good intentions, but they don't quite get it right. What are some of the ways in which Sovini Group has ensured that all employees feel at home?
Yeah, no problem. And just to confirm, it's a Southeast Asian community, so it's made of the Chinese community within Merseyside that we support. I mean, we were originally set up to help people access social housing from the Chinese community, and that was over 30 years ago. And obviously, as part of the group now, we're able to offer much more in terms of a holistic service. But in terms of our ED&I kind of initiatives, clearly being part of the group, we're making sure that people who work here can be themselves. So what we've done most recently is updated our ED&I strategy. We've reviewed our policies and procedures and made them fit for purpose. One of the things that we try to encourage is for all of our staff to update their staff profile, so we know who's working for us in terms of their race, their ethnicity, their religion, any disabilities, so we can tailor our offer to them to make sure that we're not missing out and we're not missing some gaps. And that's been a challenge for us, but again, that's a constant project that we're working on to make sure that, or as you say, there's over 800 people that work for the group, to make sure that we know who works for us, and so we can tailor our services as a good employer, as the best place to work, to those people who work for us. We've also recently created an EDI forum. So again, there are people from across the group who will come to talk about inclusion, diversity, equality issues. We can share ideas, we can look at training, we can signpost people within the group to other initiatives that will embrace and enhance our equality and diversity aims. We've most recently been awarded a charter mark for LGBTQ+. It's a local charter mark, which means we've made a commitment to particularly working with the LGBT communities in Merseyside, and we're really proud of that. I think we actually attained that accreditation on our first attempt, which we were told is highly unusual, but clearly not unusual for us as Sovini, because we are used to going to winning things, as you know. And we've got an EDI hub again, which is on our space, so again we can share and get the message out about how important it is to you know, as you say, to be yourself, but to also feel supported at Sovini.
In terms of the profiling information, so another reason why we gather that information is so that we can benchmark against the Liverpool City region to make sure that we are, you know, being as inclusive as we possibly can be within the regions that we work. And then just finally to add, we are also reviewing our EDI training package that we offer to staff to make sure that it does encompass all elements that we need to in this current day. So that is something that we've been doing over the past couple of months, and ensuring that we include things like specific trainers, especially for managers, around the use of pronouns, you know, ensuring that people understand, you know, the LGBTQ+ communities and some of the challenges that brings to us as an employer, making sure that our recruitment processes are also as inclusive and diverse.
Yeah, so it's definitely not that, you know, D&I is any sort of training on that is just a passive thing that people are supposed to take in and then click a tick box on the system to say, yeah, I've done that course or I've attended that workshop. It's much more of an active thing happening at Sovini Group.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And we're currently in the process of creating an EDI video with messages from staff within the group who form part of our EDI forum, so that they can share key messages and key challenges, you know, that maybe they faced previously with previous employers, and then when they've joined the Sovini Group, how they have felt part of our, you know, one group, one family, one great place to work. We also have specific spotlights on our diverse employees, and they are published on a monthly occasion, where we have people coming forward from our steering group and from our forum who want to share their success stories with the Sovini Group.
And all of that sharing is only possible if you've been able to create a safe space, right, for people to feel comfortable. They're not feeling like they have to hide any part of themselves, which can be so stressful and exhausting, especially for some groups like the LGBTQ+ community. And this sort of leads me nicely into personal well-being. And of course, now as we talk here in August 2021, it is a time of this great resignation that we're hearing about, and Microsoft's index saying a very scary statistic of 41% of this global workforce that's looking to leave their jobs by middle of next year. And a lot of people's priorities have, of course, shifted a lot because of COVID. And they're really focusing on how companies treat them as people. So I was wondering, Chloe, if you wouldn't mind also sharing a bit about how Sovini Group has very clearly supported employee well-being during the pandemic, and also your plans for this in the future.
Yeah, definitely. So in terms of our health and wellbeing offer, we have always prided ourselves on providing the best possible health and wellbeing programme to all of our staff. And as you've mentioned, with COVID, we were hit with a crisis, really, because all of our previous events were face-to-face, were very interactive, and we had to quickly adapt the way that we kind of created our events to suit the new ways of working during lockdown, and to ensure that we could engage with staff on a regular basis to ensure that they were happy and healthy whilst working from home. We've got actually a split workforce. We've got a number of agile staff members. I think there's about approximately 400 staff who are working in an agile way, but we also have remote workers, and they are our frontline staff who are still going into tenanted properties and, you know, doing repairs and maintenance, etc. So we had to then think differently for both kinds of groups of staff in how we would maintain their positive mental health and well-being. So some of the things that we've actually created over the last 16 months since the COVID pandemic hit is the creation of a health and wellbeing forum. So similar to the Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Forum, we give staff the opportunity to come together on a monthly basis to share their ideas and to share, any creative ideas, any changes or any ways that we can improve our offer to our staff. And that's been an absolutely fantastic opportunity for both our team to work more closely with our employees, making sure that we've got it right for those staff members within our group and within our family. We also have a dedicated health and wellbeing team as well, where we meet every single week to look at our health and wellbeing programme and to ensure that it's fit for purpose. So some of the things that we will look at, and over the last 16 months, we've recently introduced wellbeing walks, and I know Dave, me and yourself, we are regular attenders of those wellbeing walks, but we offer staff the opportunity since the lifting of social distancing measures to meet outside in local communities, so that we can take people on a little walk, show them new places, get out for a bit of fresh air, and also to meet new staff and give new staff the opportunity to meet one another, because a lot of our staff in an office traditional based environments are now working in an agile way, so may not see people as frequently as previously we did before COVID. So they're a real success, and we've got some really positive stories that are shared by staff on our staff intranet called Our Space, where staff can share their success stories. We've also offered financial support sessions as well to staff through the pandemic and post-pandemic, to ensure that we are providing staff the opportunity to manage their finances as effectively as possible, during this crisis. We had a very limited number of staff who were on furlough at the beginning of the first lockdown, but again, we've continued that offer of support to ensure that staff are, financially secure and provided with the right information to make the right choices. We all know that during lockdown, our waistlines probably grew a little bit, so we introduced Slimming World with Sovini. So this was an opportunity for staff to, go on a weight loss program with additional support of fitness. And I'll move on to that in a minute, but this was a free program, so staff were able to attend this Sovini Slim and Well with Sovini free of charge to lose the weight, and we actually lost collectively £64 over the 6-week period. So it was a really, really great achievement. We had our own centralised page on Our Space for the Sovini Slimmers, so that we were able to share recipe ideas, talk about how to get the most out of your exercise classes. So again, that was a real sense of achievement, but also a family feel as well, and getting to meet new people across the group.
Was that an in-person fitness that everyone came together and did these classes, or could it be virtual as well?
So we've done a mixture of both. So most recently, since the restrictions have been lifted, we have introduced a free paid 8-week program, which is delivered face-to-face. So we had a program of 12 staff members who participated in that program face-to-face once the lockdown lifted. And again, the feedback has been fantastic. We've had weight loss, we've had stories of people's mental health being improved by attending these face-to-face classes and being able to exercise with other staff members as well. But also for staff who maybe cannot make those face-to-face meetings due to, family commitments or whatever it may be, we've also introduced virtual fitness online classes free of charge, which staff members can tap in and out of as and when they see fit. During the last lockdown as well, we also had meditation, yoga and mindfulness sessions running virtually for staff. And again, they were really, really well attended. And again, the feedback was brilliant, and the fact that people were kind of saying, you know, this is really helping with my mindset, with my mental health and my overall well-being. And also we had staff who were reporting that it was actually having a positive impact on their family lives as well. So that was a really, really great success. So this was offered to every staff member across the group, whether you were, you know, a newly appointed staff member, apprentice, or whether you've been with the company for, you know, for years. So absolutely everybody had access to these face-to-face or virtual fitness classes, and again the yoga, mindfulness and mindset sessions. So it was a fantastic opportunity for staff to engage and you know, have positive experiences with the Sovini Group to help support their mental health and well-being. And just on the back of that, we also, during the pandemic, we trained up 19 staff members in mental health level 2, and also we trained 22 staff as mental health first aiders. So we've got a core group of staff where all of our staff members have their contact details to call them as and when they see fit. So we've got kind of like a centralized hub of support and people signposting people if and when they need those support services.
Chloe, I don't know whether you mentioned it, but again, because most of us are working agilely or working differently, we've now introduced a buddy scheme, haven't we, for new starters? So yeah, those people, those new people who would normally sit next to each other in an office environment, that's not always possible. So we've introduced a buddy scheme now, whereby we'll match up a new starter with someone with a bit more experience to make sure that they're welcomed into the Sovini Group, to make sure that they've got the skills and the knowledge and just a person to guide them through the first few months with the company, to make sure that they know what the company's about, they know what the culture's about, and how they can get support to create and sustain, hopefully, a successful career at the group.
Yeah, that's so important, right? That first 90 days, especially of your onboarding, where you don't know who's who, and especially remotely, it can feel quite like alone. You can feel like you're just in your little bubble, working from home, and all of this that you're mentioning is just making me feel like it's such a amazing company to work for, where, as Anne said, you never stand still. That enterprise company value that you have is one of your core values, and you really are living it out to the full. As you say, so many things, too little time to mention. One of the newest developments now is Sovini Group being #1, and we can see in your backgrounds on 2 lists this year in the large size category. So really proving that a large organization can be a great place for everyone who works there. And one of your colleagues, Nicola, had mentioned to me your #BePartOfIt campaign, where you've found a way of, you know, after 5 years could be so easy to just get complacent and say, well, we've got all the policies we need, and oh, here's this recognition again. But this #BePartOfIt's really keeping people engaged, keeping people excited about this recognition, and in a way that feels very authentic. Can you just share a little bit about what's happening with that campaign?
Yeah, so the #BePartOfIt was launched as part of the group's recruitment campaign initially, but the campaign was so well received that we wanted to expand the campaign to our existing employees and including their families. So I know that we've talked about Sovini Juniors, but what Sovini Juniors is it's an exclusive club for the children and family members of the Sovini employees. So we've currently got over 50 children signed up to our Sovini Juniors Club, where they can enter competitions. We send them out little gifts in the post. We have, you know, currently we've got an art competition running. They've received Odeon gift cards so that they can enjoy a trip to the cinema. So all of these things, it's not just about, you know, our staff and our new staff coming into the organisation to be part of it and our current employees being part of it. We want all of the wider family, including children, families, wider families, to be part of this, you know, one group, one great place to work, and this big, lovely, great family. So that is something that's really, really, you know, driven us to carry on with this campaign, and not just specifically for recruitment. So even though the announcement was earlier this year, we've continued the excitement through our CSR, which Anna's already mentioned. We've got Sovini Games, which again is a week-long event that we run in September or October every single year to give people the opportunity to again have fun, enjoy and be rewarded for the great work that they've achieved over the previous 12 months. We've also got a rewards and recognition scheme in place, but that is currently under review to ensure that we remain competitive, that we've got the best offer that we can possibly give to new entrants that are coming into the group, but also to our existing staff as well, so that we can retain that talent, so that people aren't, you know, wanting to look elsewhere. And that's really important to us, is to focus on the people who work for the Sovini Group. So I know that we've talked about our bonus scheme. So again, that was awarded twice. So it was awarded last year and also again this year. So staff have received an incentive scheme for again achieving targets, achieving profit margins that were set out. So again, really boosting morale and getting people to be part of our, you know, hashtag be part of it. The other thing that I wanted to talk about here again is we are ready to launch our hashtag Be Part of It awards for 2021. So that is going to be coming out in October 21. So it's a little twist on our previous employee awards, so that we can include our campaign and really make sure that we, you know, we've got people on board and we continue the excitement. And we've got some new awards categories as well that are quite fitting to the new ways of working at the Sovini Group. So that is exciting. And just finally, we feel that we never stop. We don't just celebrate with a one-off event or a one-off reward. It's about continuing our schemes and our initiatives that makes our colleagues want to be part of it, and then to be ultimately the greatest place to work, which we believe we absolutely are.
I just wanted to add, and now that we're talking about kind of special initiatives, if you like, so as I've mentioned before, we particularly work with the Southeast Asian community, and for a number of years now we've had an apprentice scheme where we specifically recruit bilingual staff, young bilingual Chinese staff on a 2-year apprenticeship, so they can use their language skills to provide services to our communities, but also, as Chloe mentioned there, get the support, get the qualifications, and hopefully get a permanent role within the group. And you know, for a small organisation within the group, that's quite a big initiative for us. And I think we've changed the lives of 4 people at the moment. We're on our 4th apprentice, and every one of them is qualified, has got an accreditation, and has gone on to permanent full-time work. So we're really proud of that as well. And again, that's due to the support of the group, people in, you know, colleagues around the table and other colleagues, to ensure that can happen, because, you know, as I say, it's a big achievement for us to be able to provide bilingual services to our communities, and to support our staff through that as well.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I feel like you are these overachievers. You got the charter, I think you mentioned, the first time around, and you've got all these initiatives, and all 4 of your apprentices getting a permanent work. That's really, really incredible. Well, thank you so much to everyone, and Chloe, David, for first of all taking the time out of your busy schedules. You sound like very, very busy people at the Sovini Group, doing a lot of good things, and for hashtag being part of this video case study. I really do appreciate it, and hopefully people watching it, a lot of our audience are HRD, CEOs, CFOs, and just senior leaders in organizations will hopefully be inspired by everything that you've mentioned here today. So thank you so much again.
Thank you.
You're
nice
welcome.
to see you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, Shala. See you again soon.
Bye.